Good morning. Let's have a heart-to-heart talk. Are y'all okay with that? You know, at the point of you and me, we could create a world that is truly heart-centered. That means that it's up to you and I to make the shift and change. We can always learn more. Do you agree? Okay, but first, does anyone know why the heart became a public speaker? Anybody? Anybody at home? If you know, just put yes in the chat. Anybody know? Well, it's because when the heart said something, everybody became all ears. Okay, well, maybe that wasn't the greatest joke, but anyway. The title of today's talk is, When the Heart Speaks, Everyone Listens. Everyone has to listen, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. I'm speaking of spiritual ears when I talk about ears listening, and I'm speaking from a place of energy connection and of the spiritual heart, not the physical heart, not the muscle. Let's look first at how the co-founder, Charles Fillmore, describes the heart in the Revealing Word. He says, the heart is love, the affection. I think we have a slide for that, Nick. The heart is love, the affectional consciousness in man. It is the faculty through which man receives love from being. He goes on to say, everyone uses his heart center to send forth loving thoughts. As used in the scripture, the word heart represents the subconscious mind. He shares this passage from the Bible. It is of the abundance of the heart that the mouth speaks. Now, looking at what he said a moment ago when I read that, it is the faculty through which man receives love from being with a capital B, meaning God. It is up to us as to how we use that which is given to us, because we all have free will. You agree? We all have free will. We all have choice. Once we are given love, it's substance, it's divine substance, but we get to manipulate that if we choose to, or we get to leave it as pure as it comes to us. We're always at choice. Ponder this. The brain is never mentioned anywhere in the Bible. Not once. Not once. However, the heart is cited 826 times. I think it has some significance. We're going to begin with this question: how can I live a more heart-centered life? We need to know this. After all, if some of us are still in the workforce, yes? Yes, and those of us who are, listen up. From the Gallup organization, they report that it's about half of the people in the workforce, only half act, or no, rather, less than half act from a heart-centered place. That leaves 22 million who are turned off, unplugged, unconsciously unaware. That's a lot of people, and that's just in the workforce. We desire a conscious awareness of when our heart speaks to us, because we want to know what it is that we're receiving from Spirit. Because whatever it is we're receiving, unless we manipulate it and change it in some way, it's going out into the world. Understanding the heart's wisdom and intuition is understanding the heart's power. When we plug into our heart's wisdom and intuition, we make better decisions that are not solely dependent on a thinking response. And our heart's wisdom resonates with our true self, our divine self. As we are consciously aware of the heart's wisdom and intuition, we gain access to insight that transcends the logic and reason of mind. And then it also addresses the complexities of everyday life. Our intuition is our inner guidance system. Instead of the GPS, why don't we try the GGS? Not me. My nickname is Gigi, but I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about God's guidance system. With this guidance system, there's no need for fear. And let me tell you something. Even though I know this, I find myself leaning into that old energy of fear sometimes. I know I'm the only one, right? Nobody else? Okay, just me. All right. Listen. I feel stuck. I feel stuck and I feel really afraid sometimes. However, because I know that I can return to that heart-centered space where there's my divinity, that's home for me, I rise right back up and I'm back to my divine self again. The energy of the heart is our authentic self, and is proven through the heart math solution, that what we feel in our heart is immediately, without pause, emanated, transferred to everyone within 8 to 10 feet of the magnetic force of our heart. 8 to 10 feet. Haven't you walked into a room and then you felt like, oh no, don't want to be here? Or you walk into another room and you think, oh yes, I'll take a seat. There is a difference, an energetic difference in what we emanate from the heart. I want to tell you a story about Jack and John. Maybe it'll drive the point home. You see, Jack and John demonstrates the differences between leadership styles and the results of both. First, may I offer this, that we are at free will to use our IQ only, our EQ only, or our SQ only. I'm talking about our intelligence quotient, our emotional quotient, and then our spiritual quotient. I think, though, that you'll find out which one is best suited for a spiritual life, just by observing these two men. So Jack believes this. Jack's beliefs, this is what he tells himself. I'm smarter than others. I am right. They are wrong. If it were not for them, I would be achieving so much more. I'm okay. They're not okay. And you know anybody like that? Now, here are John's beliefs. I can achieve great things. Yes. Others have skills and perspectives I do not have. I need the abilities of others to achieve my goals. I'm okay, and you're okay. The difference between the two is, I bet you can guess it, ego, edging God out. When we operate from this place and space, what do you think others think and feel? You see, Jack navigates the world clearly unplugged and unconsciously unconscious. There are those who look to Jack for leadership, and when they do, they feel frustrated, anxious, scared. They have to acquiesce to everything he says and does. They hold back. timid and shy. And then when they get in their cars to go home, they're fighting and weaving in and out of traffic, frustrated, right? Giving people the middle finger salute. You know, because of the frustration. Jack's doing the same thing, by the way. And then there's John. Oh, John. When John walks into a meeting, he brings the sunshine. You can probably see it and feel it now. I do. John walks into the room and everybody lights up. The reason they light up is because they know that John believes in them. And they feel excited because they have something to offer and John wants to hear about it. They feel his heart's language. The heart's language is super high-speed intelligence. I'm going to let y'all sit with that for a minute. Because I know that there is someone in here that believed it was only with the logical mind that they could succeed in life. It isn't true. The message spoken by the heart is an intelligent language that significantly influences how we perceive and react to the people around us. Scientists have repeatedly confirmed that our emotional reaction shows up in brain activity before we have time to even think. We evaluate everything emotionally as we perceive it, and then we think about it afterwards. Emotions consistently transcends reason in our lives, from heart math as well. You may be wondering, okay, well now listen. If emotional energy works faster than the mind, then how can we expect to manage our emotions, right? In fact, it takes more than the mind to manage emotions. It takes the heart's coherent power as well. Heart coherence helps balance our emotional state, and it aligns the head with the heart. All we have to do is just drop 12 inches, and we're here in the space and place that receives divine messages that we get to operate from. Intuition bypasses mental analysis and gives us direct perception independent of any reasoning process. Listening to the heart and demonstrate the importance of self-awareness. 2 Corinthians 13:5 says, examine yourselves to see whether you are living in faith. Test yourselves. Test God. God is not a person. God is not this anthropomorphic being that has feelings that will be angry with you if you test to see if what is given you is truth. Essentially, this passage is saying that we would do well by remembering the indwelling Christ. We understand from multiple perspectives. It frees us from assumptions and biases. Exploring our heart, and I think we have a slide for this, exploring our own heart's message involves the practice of introspection and self-awareness. These messages often manifest as intuitive hunches, gut feelings, and strong emotional responses. Tuning into our intuition means that you're not people-pleasing. Get over that. It took me a while. I was a big people-pleaser. Yeah, that didn't work very well. Clearly, that's an outward-focused experience. We can get along with people without driving ourselves crazy. And notice your body's response when people are talking to you. There's a tonal value, and then you can feel their remember, if you're 8 to 10 feet away, you can feel their heart's energetic response to you and what they're really feeling on the inside. Let go of doubt and fear. In quieting the mind and ego, we can start minimizing distractions. Just settle down, close your eyes, and meditate, which we're going to do after this message. Close your eyes. When you're having a conversation with someone, make frequent eye contact with them. Let them know you're really listening, because when you're not, they can tell, and it truly is hurtful. Heart-centered communication is the kind that is spoken with honesty and with vulnerability. Resolve conflicts this way. We're going to use the sandwich technique. Use the sandwich technique. You know, a sandwich has, and I'm speaking of the kind of sandwich that usually has a burger of some kinds in between the bread. So we have the top bun. That's the first part of the conversation. The top bun is always warm and fluffy. So we start out with a warm and fluffy conversation. And then the middle bun, not the middle bun, but the second layer is the protein. You notice, Mary, I said protein. Some of us enjoy a vegan diet. So there's protein and toppings. Okay, now during the time that we are having our conversation and we're in the middle of the buns, this is where we have our main concerns, our questions, and our requests, all from a heart-centered space. And finally, the third part is the bottom bun. It's not as fluffy as the top one, but it's still soft. And this is where we wrap up the conversation with something warm and positive. We want people to know that we understand them and we want to be understood as well. And we want our concerns to be heard, but from a heart-centered place, and that when we understand each other, it can help the relationship for both of us. This is inspired by the Brave Girl Project. But then Dr. Rosenberg, Marshall B. Rosenberg, says this, and listen closely, you're going to love it. Nonviolent communication shows us a way of being very honest without any criticism, insults, put-downs, and without intellectual diagnosis implying wrongness. So our personal spiritual experiences relate to heart-centered living. I'm going to share a quick little story. I was at a retreat, a spiritual retreat, and someplace during the retreat I became very overwhelmed with compassion and love for everybody there. But not just there. My heart was open wide. And I felt this love and compassion for all beings. That was such a profound experience. I decided that when I moved forward in life, I would make sure that I showed empathy and kindness to everyone I meet. And I do that through a practice of prayer, daily prayer and meditation. And I know you have your own stories. I'm going to encourage you today, find someone to share your story of a heart-centered experience, and then ask them to share their story with you. Be curious about each other. When we are curious, we ask questions rather than to assume and judge. So here's some practices to consider. Meditation for heart opening, journaling to explore emotions and intuition, and then these daily rituals too. Mindful breathing. Place your hand on your tummy and your hand on your heart and just breathe deeply. Big inhale and feel your abdomen fall back towards the spine and your chest rise. And then exhale longer than the inhale. Typically we do it with a release. Mindful breathing, gratitude, and self-compassion. So in closing, we can choose to reduce the amount of those people who are navigating the world, who are unplugged, unconsciously, unaware. And we want to be those people who are plugged in to that heart space. We want to be consciously aware. We desire that. And we are given that as soon as we tap into the heart space. May we illumine gratitude, love, compassion, forgiveness, joy, understanding in our own life and in the life of others. It's vitally important to the realization of a loving world, a peace-filled world, a peaceful life for ourselves and everyone else. I invite you to wholeheartedly, without reservation, embrace heart-centered living. Do you believe it works? Okay, I think somebody dozed off, so I'm going to ask them again.
I heard too.
Did you hear too? Okay. Do you believe heart-centered living works? Oh, they're here. I thought I was talking to the lights. All right, very good. Now, let's settle in for a moment of meditation. I'm going to sound the chimes 3 times to start and at the end 1 time. And then Byron is going to play some soft music. Just allow your attention to ride on the wave of this sound until it ends. Take a deep breath in and exhale it out with a sigh. Relax your eyes behind closed lids, or just lower your gaze to the floor so you are more inward centered. Lower your shoulders away from your ears. Take another breath with me. Big inhale and blow it out. Sometimes we're not even aware of the tension we're holding in our bodies. That's why sometimes it's suggested that we tense the whole body. Tense, 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 everything. Arms, legs, face, and then release. Turning within, away from the outside world. Return inward to the innermost part of our divine being. Oh, how wonderful it is in this place. This is home. There's peace here. There's love here. Don't you feel it? There's no other moment like this one. So totally be fully present in this moment. Anyone within the sound of my voice knows that this space is home. Breathe. In this space, we feel gratitude for life and health, prosperity, the newness of our being in this moment, because this moment will never be again. We are new here, brand new. The sun shines brighter here. Just notice. Just notice. Just notice. Bring your attention slowly back to the room.
All right, why don't we all go ahead and stand up? We'll join hands together, and let's do our peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And as we go through this week, let us hold that heart space where Gigi taught us about, and let us walk in that all week long. Let's say our prayer of protection together, shall we? The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. See you next week, everyone.